One of the environments in which fossils have been preserved is amber. Living things such as insects and even small reptiles are sometimes trapped inside the resins and ooze from tree bark. Over time, these resins gradually harden and turn into transparent amber that preserves the organism inside it, virtually unchanged. Since these small creatures trapped in amber are immediately and totally cut off from contact with the surrounding atmosphere, their bodies survive in a near-perfect state of preservation over millions of years, right down to the present day. Creatures fossilized in amber show in the most dramatic ways that there exists no difference between living things that existed millions of years ago and were preserved in amber and their present-day counterparts. Fossils preserved in amber represent a major field of research for a great many scientists. For example, entomologists Dr. George Ponar and Roberta Ponar, both from the University of California at Berkeley, have carried out highly detailed studies of fossils preserved in amber in various parts of the world, particularly those in the Dominican Republic. For their book, The Amber Forest, they brought together hundreds of fossils aged between 45 and 15 million years. Fossilized specimens of many living things trapped in the act of carrying food back to the nest, in a state of defense, attempting to camouflage themselves or defend their young, or releasing chemical substances in order to neutralize predators have all been preserved and now displayed in amber. Like other fossils, these ones preserved in amber demonstrate one very significant fact. Living things have remained unchanged for millions of years. In other words, they never underwent evolution. Tens of thousands of fossils preserved in amber show that since the very earliest times, termites have always remained termites, ants have always been ants, frogs have always been frogs, grasshoppers have always been grasshoppers, and moths have always been moths, and that none of them has ever changed.